Welcome to another episode of Ask Infinity. My name is Jordan Lindo. I am the host, as per usual, and today's Infinity is
David Ogbeady, or I just go by the name Boyo Joy. That's my producer, singer name.
Awesome, Boyo Joy. Where did that come from?
Well, it came from my Nigerian first name, which is Boyowa, which in the Ishikiri language means bringer of joy. And so one day I was like, a few years ago, I was making my Instagram account, and I'm like, I need to have a name. Like, oh, Boyowa. Well, let's just go Boyo Joy. Okay. And I stuck with that. And then maybe like a year ago, I'm like, you know what? That'd be a good music name. Why not?
Yeah,
Why
that's
not?
sick because it's just like it's unique, it's
Yeah.
fresh. So okay,
Yeah.
give us a little bit about who you are and what you do,
Well,
what you're up to.
man, that changes a lot these days. But I mean, it's changed a lot over the time. But I mean, basically what I'm up to these days right now, like I produce, I make beats, I record people myself as well. I write lyrics. I'm also trying to, fundraise for like mental health in Toronto with my music as well.
Sick.
And I'm all about healing people. And I also do Reiki as a side hustle, like a Reiki healing for other
Yeah.
people as well.
Okay, so
yeah, man.
like which one is like the one that is taking up the most of your focus right
The
now?
most focus is the music and the project I'm doing around it for like
Mhm.
mental health and such. But yeah.
So you seem to be like almost like an advocate for mental health. Is there
Oh,
a reason why you are so in tune with helping people with mental health?
Well, in my own life, I've had my own struggles with depression, anxiety, and other like undiagnosed like mental divergences, I'll call them, right? And it wasn't until 2 years ago, I was on vacation in the Philippines after I just came out of the really rough time in my fourth year of university. I finished school, right? And
Yeah.
I was there, and Philippines aside, I was just like at the end of my vacation, I was like sitting on my bed in the village, watching videos on YouTube, and I came across this video on meditation. I'm like, that's for hippies. And we're not allowed to swear on here. Can we swear on here? No, we can't swear.
Of course we can.
Oh,
This
yeah,
is an organic
yeah,
conversation.
Yeah. Okay, I have to filter myself or bleep me out.
No.
All right, yeah. I'm like, what is this shit? This is for hippies. And like, whatever. I'll just give it a shot. I give it a shot. I'm like, oh, what can this do? Within 5 minutes, like suddenly, like all that clutter in my head just went away, and it was like, what is this? Where has this been my whole life? Where has this been? I'm like, holy shit! And then suddenly I just had this intuition of like, I know what to do next. I know how to leave the country. I know who to go to. I know who to talk to. I found like the sense of confidence. It's like suddenly I was connected to something greater than myself, because all that clutter, like, it was gone away. I used to like all the prescribed medications from doctors. It wasn't really doing it temporarily work and then have side effects, and then it would like
Wow.
it wasn't, and then this was organic. This was real. So I'm like, whoa, and like that was the first day of the rest of my life. That was August 12th, 2017.
Wow.
I remember the exact day and everything. It was like mid-afternoon, and yeah, and like after that point, I just became obsessed with like learning about different healing methods, different kinds of meditation,
Mhm.
ancient knowledge, ancient philosophy, ancient history, like spirituality, metaphysics, the whole origin of the whole universe.
So you pretty much just like hit up Google and like downloaded everything you could on this topic.
I'm like, ooh, this video, and I watched like hours and hours, and literally like over 100 hours of videos on YouTube on just like metaphysics and stuff like that, and like read books and just like started journaling, and it became like I became obsessed with it.
Yeah, obsession.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
did people around you start noticing that there was like that you were shifting, like you were?
Oh, immediately. They're like, yeah, I came back from the vacation, like, oh, Mom, I discovered meditation. I am a change. I'm enlightened.
Go wash the dishes. Go and lighten those dishes from the sink. So people are noticing that you're different.
Yeah.
Were you in a romantic relationship at the time?
No, it's not.
No, because usually our partners like are the ones the closest to us. So I was gonna ask if they noticed, but so that's amazing. So did it make any changes in terms of like how you like how you worked, how you manifested things, how you like what your interests were. Like what were the immediate things that shifted for you?
Honestly, like
When
I
that
just
happened?
I became more focused on self-development and actually taking risks in life and following my dreams. Because before I was doing music, I went to U of T for computer engineering. I was like building hardware and writing software for hardware companies and stuff. And although after I graduated, I still did continue like doing software development. I was moving more into a creative field. I was starting to like really acknowledge that creative part of myself because
Yeah.
I was like, I've been making music since I was a teenager, but on and off, and I've been kind of putting it to the side, saying that's kind of like a side thing. Yeah, I want to do it professionally, but not now, not now. Right now I got to focus on my career and it was more like the whole culture in university was like, especially at U of T, was like, if you don't get an internship or don't get a high GPA, then you're not worth anything. So
Wow.
the end all be all was trying to work at Google or work at a big company.
Yeah, yeah.
And like I realized that's not really what I wanted. So I just slowly began to like over the past couple of years like work at different companies and then kind of realize that I want to go back into music and be creative and move into a more creative roles like software development and then web development and then product design and then now I'm just like okay. Maybe I'm a creative person.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I can't avoid this. I can't avoid this.
It's
and
like
yeah,
I can't get any more creative
Yeah.
and stay corporate. It's just like
Yeah.
okay, you're at the edge of the bench now. You just gotta go. You gotta go into that creative world, right?
Yeah.
Were you
Yeah.
afraid? Like, were you afraid to make that transition? Is that why it happened like that, or were you
There's a
coming
whole
to
story
terms?
behind that. Yeah, just like it was a slow transition. Like my friends changed as well, and I began making more friends who were spiritual, and like I began to find my soul tribe. I realized that who I was friends with before wasn't really who like I liked them. They're great people, Like I still talk to them, but like we were on the exact same wavelength in terms of life direction. And then I began to find my tribe more, and like the transition to music like that was yeah, it was scary at first. Like back in October last year, I began this program called the Self-Expression Leadership Program, and it's like they show you how to like run a project and like basically put yourself out there and then take a huge risk to like impact the target community. And so at that point, I was sort of beginning to get back into making music, and I'm like, you know what? I'm really passionate about developing people's mental health. I realized that like in my case, having shitty mental health and having that is either the make it or break it for who you are as a person, and I feel like that should apply to all human beings. So I'm like, you know what? Let's create let's produce an album. I've never done that before. Let's produce an album that's based on like sharing that kind of knowledge and like breaking the stigma and leaving people empowered. And I figured, okay, that'll be my project. I just came up with it on the day I got there. I'm like, oh, I don't know how to do this. I've never produced an album. I've never brought artists to the studio before. I've always been making beats by myself or something like that, right? And then like, I just kind of like, that was the scary part, like going to get the project done, finding people to make music with, and then going to the classrooms and then telling them, hey, this is what worked, this is what didn't work. Didn't know what I was doing in the beginning, and and I just like.
So what kind of music were you making at that time? Like
I was making a lot of.
Album was it?
It was like a hip hop R&B, like alternative hip hop R&B album, kind of thing. Like male singers, female singers, some rappers on there. A good variety.
Okay.
But yeah.
And then from there, I guess you just continue to grow because music is still a big part of your life right now.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. And like, I'm now 110% sure it's like one of the most main aspects of my life. And like, it just began to grow, and the album began to like, it began to grow. And I think when I began producing this album, for the very first time, I actually felt really, really like for the first time since I was a teenager, I felt really, really excited to like be doing music. It was like new, it was fresh. You bring an artist into the studio, and you just make a random idea and see where it goes, and we're laughing and we're having fun, and we're making memories, and like it was just like, wow, I really love this project, and like, yeah, and I was doing a project, and I decided, you know what, 4 months ago, something like that, I'm like, time to just jump in. I can't do the half-seat things anymore. Do one career in this and do one career in that.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, maybe one day I might go back into software dev, but maybe like to run a business, not to like.
Or maybe you'll utilize those skills in a way
Exactly.
that works for you creatively.
Exactly.
at
Yeah,
some
yeah.
point.
Like it's still in my mind. I haven't dropped it. I just like right now, I'm focusing on music is like my main thing.
So, do you ever rap about mental health?
Yeah. Like I sing about that. Yeah, I'm more of a singer actually, but like I do kind of rap a bit as well. But I mean, it's like singing, rapping. So technically, it's rapping,
Yeah.
or whatever. But
We'll just call it draking for the purposes of this, for the length of this.
Draking.
So
Yeah.
okay, dope. So I wish I actually had listened to some before I got here, but I haven't. So I'm gonna actually put the links and stuff below so people can check.
Definitely,
that out.
yeah. I'm on 2 of the songs. I'm on the intro track, on the final track. I'm also on another track, and the album's designed so that like as you go from the very beginning,
Yeah.
like it's called Broken Record, right? So like you start from the very beginning, like you're talking about how it's the same shit over and over again. Like ineffective healing methods. The world doesn't treat mental health well. People keep repeating the same cycle of trauma, and as you go through the album, it's like a healing with the music. So the songs become more and more positive, and then like uplifting, and eventually like you get to the end where you're complete with it.
Oh my god!
And, like,
so it's an experience.
Yeah,
It's not like it's not an album. It's an experience.
It's an experience, yeah. That the person they listen to it, and then they come out at the very end feeling like they're understood, or like their mental health has like been taken care of, or like they have a chance to heal now, and like
That's freaking epic.
it's like, and yeah, like I'll put the link. Yeah, I'll send you that. And
So are you producing all the music for this, or are you getting other producers to help out?
I pretty much like I made all the beats, but like there was one producer. His name's Phoenix. He like helped me on a couple songs, like with making the beats. But
So you
I pretty
collab.
much yeah. But like pretty much I just brought people in and made the beats and then mixed and mastered everything. I mean I just
You mix and master as well.
recorded, mixed and mastered it. And then the artists, they brought their vibes, they brought their lyrics, and they brought their lovely voices and everything.
Their energy and their vibe.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
like, do you feel like the people that you bring on as artists and collabers are also people who have suffered, like are on the same kind of struggle a little bit?
Yeah. I feel like like it really shows in their music, and I'll bring them in, like I'll ask them like, hey, like just speak from your heart, and then like boom, they'll come up with some really amazing lyrics about like that relates to them personally, and like whoa, that could really touch people and inspire them, and it's like. Yeah, like all of them, they've all been through shit. They've all been through stuff.
Yeah, I feel like that is the story of
humanity.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly, it's humanity. It's like if I find someone who hasn't, I'm like, whoa, what
Right?
kind of
Which
karma
planet did you come from?
what kind of good karma do you have in this lifetime?
But isn't it interesting to think that we live on a planet, like, look around, we're in a park right now. Like, besides the kids are pretty much flawless.
Oh my gosh.
But everybody
man, I miss
else,
those days.
right?
I miss those days.
Is walking around with some form of like anxiety or mental health issue,
Yeah.
and we all just pretend that it's not there, but it is.
Yeah.
So I think it's so interesting that you're putting a spotlight on that, because I think we need more people doing that in whatever forum that they exist in. So for music, it's dope. Like conscious rap or conscious music has always been kind of like dry for me. Like it's super like. Most of it's corny. Let me just say that. Most of it's just corny. It's just like, yo, do meditation.
Do meditation, get high, elevation,
Just make real music, man. Just talk about your experience.
Yeah.
And get some dope
And
beats.
I was afraid of that. I was afraid that it might come up, but luckily, like the way I made it, and we made it so that like you can still like bump to it. You can still like play it.
Yeah.
And like not know, like it can still sound like a song. Like it sounds like real music. But like the beats made to it. But if you listen to the message, the lyrics, then it makes sense. But it's like it's woke. But it's like if you're drunk and you can't hear the lyrics, you'll be like, oh, this sounds good. Oh, the lyrics sound good.
You just said a mouthful too, because that's what we need. We need music that's conscious, but sounds good. So even if you're drunk, you're getting conscious. Like if you're in the club and you're turning up, you're turning up to kind of positive shit. Like that's what we need.
Yeah.
Right? So
like hidden goodness, hidden high frequency stuff.
Yeah.
In there,
It's kind of like when your mom, put the vitamin in your, peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
She gave it to me straight, man. I didn't. Take your Flintstones.
Oh, Flintstones was easy. crazy.
Taking cod liver oil.
Right? Oh my
I
god.
kind of like cod liver oil though. I don't like the tablets. They taste good though.
Yeah, no, same. I like it too. The omega-3s, to me, it's got a specific taste that I like.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I know
it.
some of us had those parents who were just like, "Yo, take the pills now."
Yeah,
there was no easy way out. But
Just make an album about omega-3s and pills. You know, as a kid, so let's make an album about that right now. Let's go.
yo, that'd be dope. That'd be so dope. So I see that you're wearing like this a dashiki, right?
Yeah.
So what's your heritage? Like, where are you from?
Background's Nigerian.
Nigerian.
Yeah, I got this
sick.
from Nigeria when I went there 3 years ago to visit.
What's it like in Nigeria? I've never been.
Well, I've only been there 3 times, but it kind of feels like they have a very free sort of expressive, expressive, free kind of culture. Like everyone's just sort of like they're saying what they want. Things aren't really as regulated in a good way, and it's just like you go there, everyone's dressed colorfully, and something about being in Nigeria for me anyway. It's like you feel connected to your I guess your roots, like some kind of past life stuff. I began to feel like some past life stuff was happening. Like whoa. And like I once saw my last name on a business, because like here in Canada you see like Smith and Co.
Yeah.
And I'm like so Old Lady, whoa, is that whoa? And it's like the food's great, the food's amazing.
Yeah.
Nigerian food is the best. And honestly, just being in the area, because everyone they're very like honest and very straightforward with each other. You eventually just, like you become stronger, and you leave with a sense of confidence when you go there.
That's like next level. That's everything I imagined Africa to be.
Yeah.
Honestly, like.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking, like, it's probably like, how we watched Black Panther in the theaters, and literally the entire global black community came together and just felt empowered. I feel like that's what it's like to be in Africa, but like all the time.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you look up and you see people in positions of power that look like you. And dashikis are dope as fuck. Like I would rock a dashiki.
I want to get a second one. Fuck. I wonder
Like
if they
every
sell
other
them here
day.
in Toronto.
Yeah, you should look into that.
This is my favorite shirt right now, to be honest with you.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
And it's so. Do you get compliments on it all the time?
Yes.
That's why it's your favorite. He's like, okay, I got a stun on some woman tonight. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's get that dashiki on, and just hit the street. But but yeah, I like it, man. It's super dope. So are you looking to do collaborations, like local collaborations? Have you done local collabs?
Like with like music wise?
Like with artists.
Yeah, right now I'm sort of like I'm working on a new single.
Yeah.
With it's kind of like a very fun summer song, I'm doing with my friend Simba. And we're gonna do a music video for it too. That's the plan for the summer. And I'm currently working on this. It's like a new spiritual form of EDM. It's called uplifting like house music, with another friend of mine. His name's Soul Love, and that track's almost done. I'm just working with them right now, and I'm gonna expand and just make beats and and I forgot to mention with Broken Record, I'm actually partnering with a charity called Stella's Place. Have you ever heard of them?
No.
Oh yeah. They're kind of like they offer like really like progressive and like really forward moving like methods for like young adults, like meditation, yoga, and it's all free and everything, And so I figured, okay, you know what, like if I want this album to actually affect mental health, there should be a message in the music and also actually be helping something here physical in the real world. So like
wow.
I'm doing a fundraiser sale of like t-shirts and hats and like tank tops and such and hoodies of like with the Broken Record logo on it. Like I think
you brought it with you.
I have like a sample here, like here's one of them, like, and for every sale, $5 will be donated to them.
So is Broken Record your thing? Why do I feel like I've heard that before?
Broken Record. Maybe I brought it up maybe like that day we met, like back maybe briefly. Through the crew.
But is this your brand?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about that. How did this start?
It's a brand. Oh, wow.
So how did that start? Like Broken Record, there's so much to dive into there. Like, how'd you come up with the name?
Honestly, like one, like we've been called the broken ones per se. We've been stigmatized to say something wrong with us, even though really we're just every human being has a unique experience of the world, and the world often seems to think that there's only one way of certain things happening. and they want to keep it that way. And so I figured it's a broken record. We're the broken ones making a record for you. We want to break it's been the same shit over and over again. The same sort of take your pills, just keep your head down, don't talk about your pain. No one needs to know, and just carry on with life. And repeat the cycle of trauma for the next generation, and then keep it going over and over again.
Yeah.
And but don't dig deep and find out what's there. Just keep. And it's I figured, you know what? We need to break this record and start a new one.
Yeah.
And so this emblem, it represents. We wear it. It's kind of I'm a broken record. I've broken the stigma, and I want to start there's gonna be a vibe in Toronto, and people are gonna be wearing these shirts, wearing these hats, and it's gonna be it's gonna represent freedom. It's gonna represent empowerment and represent freedom from their own struggles. And I think it's really about more than just the music, it's really about what am I doing for the world with this music? So it's just
so it's kind of like a movement almost.
Yeah.
That's what it's sounding like. It's not just music.
yeah. The music is a vehicle for the movement, but it's kind of it's the messenger, and then the movement is this is the physical messenger,
the lifestyle that you guys are subscribing to.
Yeah.
I like that. I think that Broken Record's a very interesting name. There's so many ways that could be perceived, right?
Mm-hmm.
I like the art too. Did you do the art, or did you get someone else to do it? I feel like you're so creative. It could be you.
I had a design the logo, but I took the logo and I designed the cover art for the album. I did some stuff myself as well, but the logo itself was designed by him, the base logo.
Okay.
And
awesome.
he's really talented. He's a good friend of mine.
Well, shout him out.
Yeah. His name's he's AJ Dutta. DuttaCreative.com. He runs a creative agency for graphic design. He's been doing it for decades. He's really good at that stuff. It just comes naturally to him. So I just thanks AJ for that once again. I can't thank you enough.
Yeah, big up AJ.
Yeah, man.
Oh.
yeah.
So.
Yeah.
You're such an interesting guy, man. I feel like you have interesting friends around you. What kind of company do you keep?
I keep musical company, spiritual company, honestly, yeah. Just people who are on some kind of path to self-development, people who are creative, people who are spiritual, people who are trying to move forward and better themselves in life.
Okay, so what does spiritual mean to you? Because I think everyone has a different definition.
I know. People who are connected to something that's greater than themselves. They're in tune with the deeper part of themselves that's not physical, but sort of controls everything around them. And in that sense, where they're open to the compassion of human beings and open to receiving the energies, rather than just being stuck in the material, fiscal and sort of purely egoic way of living life.
That's real, man. Honestly, I that's so well put. Because and it's very fair too. I feel like there's nothing wrong with not being tapped into your spirituality, but it's just an evolutionary thing. One day you just get to that point. Sometimes it takes mental illness to get you there, and sometimes it's just hardships, and then you kind of just how was your? Is that how you got into the spiritual path? Was it your mental illness?
Yeah. I don't really like using the term mental illness because it's just kind of
there's a stigma around it.
Yeah. I'm just thinking what
would you rather say?
Mental health issues or mental health divergences or just
divergences.
Yeah, because I've noticed through my own research and just looking at people as well that there are a lot of mental health illnesses that are actually gifts people have. For example, schizophrenia. It's actually a form of spiritual awakening in a lot of cultures. Some cultures, they see schizophrenia actually as they find children who have they can see spirits and stuff, and then we call them crazy here, but they train them to be shamans in their cultures, and then they actually become useful. They can psychically find things out. But in our Western culture, where it's pure all mind, no heart and soul, and all material mind, people who have schizophrenia, the name they gave it, they go to shit because there's no space for them here.
Yeah, they put them in straitjackets, right?
Yeah, straitjackets. Same people same people who have autism. They're really gifted with whatever skills they have, but they're not very good with socializing, and so that creates a lot of issues as well. And people who have bipolar disorder, literally all it is it's high energy state, low energy state, And then people think, oh, there's something wrong with that. But like, what if everyone was bipolar and everyone was autistic, and only one person in this world was quote unquote neurotypical? They would call them normal. Like, they call them like, oh, that person has normal disorder.
Yeah.
Like, normal disorder.
What's wrong with that normal guy over there?
You don't have any gifts, bro.
Yeah.
You got these spirits? Wow, he's broken.
Wow, it's so true. It's a perspective thing, and I think you're right. It's very much a Western thing. Like I find that Asian cultures and a lot of European cultures are very advanced in how they view you know, consciousness.
Yeah.
And the body-mind connection, like. But you know what? To me, it's just an evolutionary thing.
Yeah.
Again, it's like the Western world is just the last place for, you know, this kind of development to happen. But we're getting it. Like, I don't know if you've noticed, but
yeah,
people
we're on
are
a wave
becoming,
these days.
Yeah. There's a conscious wave happening in Toronto that I'm very happy about, and
Me
I think
too.
it's happening all across
North America.
the States. Yeah, North America.
Yeah. We're catching up.
But the stigma, man, the stigma around mental health. I forgot where I was actually going because you just brought up something really interesting, and it's like.
Me too. I was trying to remember, but like.
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
I honestly think that, you know, we all have some version of mental what'd you say?
Mental health,
divergence.
Yeah, divergences.
But I think that most people
Neurodiversity.
Neurodiversity.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Right? But I think we learn to suppress.
Yeah.
And the ones who are successful are the ones that we call normal. Like the ones who successfully, you know, push that down. But you're right. I think that these neurodiversities are what make us human, actually.
Yeah.
Like we're capable, right? Being a human being means that we're capable of understanding things on a much higher scale than an animal.
Yeah.
And what comes with that is these what we would call
the human condition.
It's the human condition.
It's a gift and also pure suffering for all of us.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's suffering all the time.
Well, I think that this is because I think the suffering, I would call it a phase, is happening because we're literally evolving out of apes. Like yesterday.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like I think we're kind of like working out the kinks right now. We're fleshing out the inconsistencies in harmony and balance with our higher selves. And once we can do that, I honestly don't think, you know, there will be a stigma for one, and I don't think that will be the same. I think that it'll just be normal.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, like I really envision the future in a world where everyone, no matter what kind of brain or DNA they have coming to life, they get the support they need to actually coexist in this world, being who they are. So like, one thing I found was that with the spiritual path is that it can actually bypass a lot of the mental aspects of things, because we seem to live in a society where we think mind is everything, and nothing else, nothing more, mind, and then we get stuck in our heads. But I find like if you like meditate long enough, or you get like Reiki healing done on you not long enough, or like basically like you build yourself, you work on yourself so much that whatever you have, what you're born with, like it'll get to the point where you'll learn how to fit the sleeve. Like I feel like we've all been born into this lifetime with who we are for a reason, to like learn lessons, and we have to master it. Like we've all been we've been dealt our hand, and we have to master our hand. And some people have difficult than others. Some people have it easier in some areas, but it's like it's almost like we all have deficiencies and strengths, and it's just like, you know, make sure that your deficiencies don't weigh down your strengths, and then boom, and then that's life. Just like finding out how to balance yourself. That's all it comes down to, you know. Like self-mastery is the key to happiness, and the key to actually being free of suffering. I'd rather have the pain of working hard to like the joyful pain of working towards like being a more integrated self than just sitting around doing nothing and then suffering through life, wondering, oh, why isn't this not gonna get better for me, kind of stuff, you know. But I think that was very well said.
but I think that there's a level of consciousness that comes with that,
Mhm.
because some people are suffering, but it's not like they don't think there's anything they can do about it.
Mhm.
And there's a huge difference between somebody who is suffering and knows they can
Yep.
change that circumstance. Like the suffering has a different flavor too,
Yeah.
I think, in my opinion. So
Yeah.
I'm just very excited, man. I'm very excited to just see the evolution of our community move in the direction of awareness and understand that, hey, like I can do something about my circumstance. Like The Secret,
Yeah.
the book or movie came out like a decade ago.
The Secret?
The Secret. Do you remember that?
What's that about?
Oprah showcased it. It was a movie and a book. I don't know who. Like, it was a bunch of authors that came together, like best-selling authors that were spiritualists. They came together and they created. It's called The Secret. You gotta check it out, bro. I thought, it's.
Damn.
I honestly thought everyone knew about it, but it was so like it was so hippie at that time. Like, even though there was science to back it up and stuff, people were like. They were like, yes, we get it. It's cool, but it was very.
We weren't ready for it.
We kind of sensationalized it a little bit, and so it didn't have the impact that it would have today. But it planted the seeds. So it's great to see the seeds finally blooming.
Yeah, we're discovering the secret now.
Exactly.
Yeah. The movie became reality.
Yeah, exactly.
So yes, I have watched it. I'm watching it right now.
Yeah. Ooh. So the broken record, like, where do you see it going? Like what is, like, give me more of the vision.
More of the vision, basically. So, I see, one, the music being featured on more blogs and podcasts like this one, and I see the album being on Spotify playlists, being like spread everywhere, and people just like singing the music to themselves, and talking about it. And I see it's causing a shift in Toronto, especially with the clothing as well. People are gonna be rocking that, and like it's gonna mean something. It's gonna mean. I see it. The end goal is like standing in the future where people just they get a second look at themselves, and they look at themselves from a point of view, not that I'm broken, but a point of view that I am this way, and that's the what's so, and that's okay. And yeah, and it's just,
I like that.
honestly, like, yeah, like I'm all about healing. I mean, really, next up healing wise, I really want to like take Reiki healing really seriously. I got my Reiki 2 months, became a Reiki master, and now I want to like, there's something I just really enjoy about like going and aligning someone's energy, and like leaving them with an hour just feeling like, because like I don't know what it is. It's just like I've always been drawn to like heal people and just leave them feeling stronger and more powerful within themselves. It just someone's like, hey, I want Reiki. I'm like, oh yes, definitely, yeah. It's so fun.
So what is Reiki? Like,
Reiki.
maybe people are listening, they have no idea.
Yeah.
Like, what is it?
Yeah, Reiki. So what it literally stands for is it's an ancient Japanese form of healing, where you channel energy through your hands, and Reiki stands for Rei means universal, and Ki means energy. So you tap into like a universal sort of life force that's all around you, that's all within us, like sort of like going into your power within and channeling it through yourself. And I've noticed how it kind of behaves. Like it's kind of like it behaves like the way electricity does, but like it's kind of like a higher dimensional. It's unproven science. I realize, like you put your hands over the other person, and then like your hands get cold and they get hot, and then your body gets cold, like positive, negative, positive, and then the energy flows, and it's like the fields around you, and you can sense them. You learn how to sense them. And basically what it does, it just like it goes and it clears up emotional blockages within yourself, because we end up storing emotional blockages inside different parts of our body, in our mind and such, and in our mind, in our throats, in our organs, and in our DNA and all that. And it could even speed up like physical healing as well, because like we're made of living things, energy, and it could even at the really advanced levels, you can actually go and realign spiritual aspects of yourself, like realign your soul, like heal situations, send it from a distance. Like Reiki, it transcends space and time, because it doesn't travel in 3 dimensions. It travels through higher dimensions. Like it comes straight. So it just like it doesn't. There are a lot of unproven physically that we know today is real, and we experience them, but currently science doesn't have the technology yet to or isn't publicly accepted really to say that there are higher energy fields and higher forms of forces of nature other than the four fundamental: gravity, weak nuclear, strong nuclear, and electromagnetic force. Yeah.
That makes perfect sense. I think that, there's always a lag between, the tools that we create that help us understand these things and our understanding, because we're the ultimate tool, right? That's what I feel like science a lot of times dismisses, is that because we're such a highly evolved tool, we get the understanding way before we can externalize what that is. Like even an emotion, right? Imagine how long it took us to figure out
what's an emotion.
How do we put this on paper? How do we get the chemicals? How do we get the microscopes to you know how long we went before, but we've been experiencing emotions from the beginning of time.
Yeah.
So I think that this happens on a much bigger scale as we evolve spiritually and consciously. Like, we're experiencing all these next level dimensional stuff or things.
And then science catches up to it.
And science is like, okay, we're getting there, but like we're just doing this right now.
Yeah.
And you have to kind of wait, but you're kind of seen as a crazy person sometimes if you're so evolved and you live this lifestyle of, such conscious connection without science really knowing what the hell is happening.
It really brings me back to those days when like they thought that a campfire or lightning was caused by the god of lightning or the god of fire or the god of trees, and it's like, oh, my wife's pregnant. Oh yes, it's because you left your window open and you didn't light 2 candles, and it's witchcraft, and I don't know, like, but then
the god of fertility.
Oh yeah. Oh yes, combustion reactions, boom, oxygen combusting with hydrocarbons. Okay, lightning, cool, electric charges, and now it's like, oh, I'm psychic. Oh, I said Reiki healing. Oh, that's magic. And maybe like 100 years from now, we'll be like, oh yeah, it's because of this.
There's some
new,
quantum field.
Some new it's all quantum. Yeah, it's all quantum field stuff.
Yeah.
Like right now, like quantum mechanics is getting to the point where they're realizing that the universe doesn't make sense, and that like they're realizing now that in certain experiments, the way you observe like an atom will change. Like the consciousness you have of looking at it will change the actual result. So like, oh wow, we just proved consciousness is real. Like, all right, and now they're stuck on that. And now we're kind of like, okay, what's next?
Yeah, I think they've made some really great advancements.
Yeah.
But it takes a balance. It takes a scientist who's not just like you said, mental about it, but who's also consciously expanded as well to balance that out and to do the right research. Because if you're not conscious, you're not asking the right questions. That's
absolutely true. Yeah. And believe it or not, Einstein and Nikola Tesla they're very conscious people.
Super conscious.
Yeah. Tesla, he channeled all his inventions, and like Einstein was tapped into something really, really, really deep, but he had to explain it in a way that was mathematical, that the world could accept. But they were like you literally cannot be a scientist and not be spiritual, like not be tapped into something higher than the material.
I totally believe that, and I think maybe that's why our advancement is kind of halted a little bit, because we got to reconnect to that. The shaman side of us.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think that's such a beautiful connection. Like, imagine, like the Dalai Lama meets, what's his name?
Elon Musk.
Yeah. Holy
yeah.
That would be like insane. Like,
yeah,
that
honestly,
balance.
Yeah.
That would be like a superhuman.
Honestly, like, because like they're both doing the exact same thing. Science and like spirituality, they're both trying to find reality. But science does it from the outside in, and spirituality does it from the inside out. So like really, they're both extremely useful. I mean, we need to marry them together.
Yeah.
To create the yin yang.
Yeah.
But
wow, I just thought about that, man.
Oh yeah.
Now I'm like, I can't get that out of my head. Like, what would that superhuman look like?
Iron Man. Super spiritual Reiki man. To the rescue.
Oh my God. So I see you got some tiger's eye. You're like a real spiritual dude, eh?
Oh yeah.
Got the
I
tiger's
got crystals
eye.
on me and everything.
And what's that? Is that lava stone? What is that?
Yeah, it's volcanic stone. Yeah.
Awesome.
It's meant to ground you, and bring you down to your root. And yeah.
Do you feel like you need much grounding these days?
Not as much as I used to.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is where I get into astrology.
Let's go, man.
Oh yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. So I'm a Pisces.
Okay.
As a Pisces, we get we get lost in our imaginations, and our creativity and our emotions flow like water, and then I guess we need to be grounded sometimes. So, but yeah, and I can go into my whole birth chart and everything. Oh my gosh,
Okay,
astrology is something else. That's another obsession of mine.
I'm gonna keep you grounded with this.
Yeah.
So what? I see you're like.
Oh yeah, you saw.
Okay.
You saw.
So,
Yeah.
so to what extent do you believe astrology is real? Like, and how does it affect your everyday life practically?
Well, basically, the way I see astrology is that there are other forces of nature involving the other planets and different stars around us that we have observed over the millennia to have certain patterns informing people's behaviors. And then we've found these patterns, and at first I didn't think it was true, so I went and I learned how to read birth charts. I became really deep into reading people's astrological birth charts, and I tested over and over again scientifically to be like, okay, is this real? Is this real? Is this real?
Mm-hmm.
And every single time, everyone's birth chart was an exact sort of like replica of who they are, minus their experiences in life, and I'd even cross-test it to see if this will fit with that person, and it's just like everyone's birth chart is kind of like an imprint of who they are. And it makes sense because how every month the moon goes around, and it affects fertility cycles, and it affects the tides, and affects the animals. Like, if planets can affect things physically, then they should be able to affect things emotionally as well. Like the Earth goes through seasons, snow, like winter, spring, summer, fall, winter, spring, summer, fall. Like Aries, Taurus, Gemini. Like it's a different kind of cycle that once again we haven't been able to prove materialistically, but millions of us in the world in different cultures have observed the same cycles. Like, how different cultures, like they all have their own astrological systems. Like the Greeks had theirs, and the Romans had theirs, and then the Indians have their the nakshatra system, and I guess like the people in like different cultures have the exact same sort of like 360, 12 by 12, 12 signs, 12 sort of this, and even though the systems may be a bit different, if I compare everyone's birth chart to every single system, it adds up to the exact same personality. Like the exact, if you add all the traits together, you get the exact same person. So like really, we're kind of onto something. Like,
but do you ever find that there's somebody who is not like their birth chart? How often does that happen?
Like how? Well, not really. No. But like one thing I've seen is that when people talk about astrology, they talk about only like, oh, what's your sign and your sun sign, and like that's just the first layer of astrology. And people think, oh yeah,
You're a Leo.
I'm a Leo, but like you seem more emotional than Leo. Astrology's bullshit. But then you look at their birth chart, you'll see that they have a moon in Cancer, or they have emotions of a Cancer, or they have a rising sign of a Libra, so they come off more balanced. And it's like, interesting. And then I realized like over the years, psychic stuff and astrological stuff back in the 1920s when people were booming in prosperity in the States, like there are a lot of real psychics and a lot of fake psychics that would jump on that financial train to get rich, and then they ruined it. They created the reputation that astrology is fake, psychics are fake, and it became like a thing. And I agree with you, there are a lot of fake psychics out there, a lot of fake daily horoscopes that are kind of like, they're just like websites that collect ads. They're like ad collecting websites that don't really have any real value. So I kind of don't blame people for like not believing in it, because I used to think it was kind of BS as well. But then like I dived into it and I saw that like it really, if you get someone's birthday, the time of the birth and the exact location, like their town, then you can basically like know how their thoughts and emotions work on like the fundamental level. And like just like.
But how can that kind of information help you though? Like even if a birth chart says that this is kind of who you are, this is what makes you up, this is where you're kind of generally going. Like, how do you use that information to? I
use that while it explained a lot of things that happened in the past, the way I develop as a person. It can also give you insight into where you need to head to in life, and like the things that you need to avoid, because like there are aspects in there about like your life path as well, and it can also show you where your weaknesses are and where your strengths are. So in my case, I got a South Node in Taurus and a North Node in Scorpio, which means in this lifetime, in order to find myself, to progress, I need to dive into spirituality. And I didn't realize that until after I dived into spirituality, and I realized, whoa, like this is for me. Like,
but that could be said of all of us.
Exactly,
yeah. Like we all need to dive into spirituality to. Well, maybe not. Do you feel like this is an interesting question? I've never asked this before. Do you feel that there are human beings that are just born to be normal, like just to be born, to have kids, white picket fence, go to work, come home, retire, die? Like, do you think
honestly,
that's their entire purpose?
I believe that everyone's path is different, and when I began the spiritual path, like I had the spiritual ego where like this is the only right path. Everyone should do this, but I realized very soon that wait a minute, this is my path, and they have their path, and they exist for a reason. And it goes back to me like not making them wrong for being them. So maybe in this lifetime it's their that their kind of what they need to do is to go on their path and follow what they need to do. Maybe that is a spirituality. Like maybe spirituality isn't always about meditating or having crystals. It can be about just existing and learning how to exist in whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Because we're all everything's spirit. So everything's spirituality. Everything literally is. So technically,
I absolutely love that, because I feel the same. I feel like it's kind of like the butterfly effect. I feel like every little thing matters.
Yeah.
Like even if you have like a guy who seemingly has a regular life, you take him out of the equation, everything I feel like there's chaos. I feel like everything is out of whack because each person is like a cog in the machine of life, and you take that cog out, then the machine stops working.
Exactly.
So I think that's I agree with that. I resonate with that.
There was this funny analogy I came up with. Like how in nature you have trees and you have insects and you have fish, and they're all different things, right?
Yeah.
And like, trees are the most pure. All they do is give. we should all be trees, and there should be no animals and insects. And what if we were all trees? And then well, I mean. Like what if we were all fish and all just like nothing but fish, just flopping on the ground, fish in the ocean, no plants? The world would disappear. What would the fish eat? We wouldn't eat each other.
Fish eat algae actually.
Yeah, but then we need algae. And then that's where diversity comes in.
Yeah,
we need to have that. Yeah. We need to have diversity, neurodiversity, biological diversity, and it's kind of like, what if everyone just quits their job and meditates? Well, I mean. We wouldn't have any food. We wouldn't have any society. Would kind of fall apart. I mean, we need people who are making food and building structures and running the government and the financial system and building technologies and being doctors and stuff. And what are they doing? It's an ecosystem. We need to.
Wow, I never thought about it that way actually.
Yeah.
Even government is spiritual.
No.
Why did you say no?
I
got you there.
Yeah.
Okay, hit me, man. What's
they're on a spiritual path, but
would you say Donald Trump is spiritual?
He's not on that path. No, he's made of spirit, and he has a spirit. But I mean, is he spiritual? Definitely. Is he spiritual in the sense of meditating and being conscious?
Yeah.
No.
I asked that way too open-ended.
But
would you say that Donald Trump is part of a larger spiritual collective evolution that's happening in the human race?
Like he's some kind of catalyst. He's kind of like a signal of what needs to. I don't know.
Well, I don't have to use him as an example. Because I use the everyday person as an example, right? If the everyday person is super important to the ever growing collective, then Trump is another person. Is he just as important or less important, or?
Well, I mean, he exists for a reason. I mean, I feel he's kind of the president, so he's important. But I mean, the way I view him is as sort of like a signal, like a catalyst into a new era, where we need to. It's kind of like the last straw. We need to change now. It's kind of like when you left the stove on for too long, and the house catches fire, and it's time to turn the stove off. And now that's
the best way anyone's ever put it. So Trump is like the fire burning your house down, letting you know that you gotta do some shit.
Yeah, yeah.
I think a spiritual awakening. That,
yeah. So he's useful.
He's useful in the worst way.
He's a siren.
Wow, he's useful in the worst way.
Yeah.
but still useful.
Exactly.
I like that. I resonate with that.
Everything's a blessing or a lesson. That's the way I see it.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's fucking deep, bro. That's
Oh.
deep. I gotta meditate on that one. Okay, so we're getting close to the hour, so I want to
Oh, yeah,
ask
man.
you one more question. I feel like
Alright,
you may
man.
go pretty far with this, but
Mm.
before I do that, I want you to just let us know, like, how can we connect with you? How can we find out what you're up to on a
Honestly, yeah.
ongoing basis?
Yeah, like I post regularly on social media. Follow me at Boyojoy Music, BOYOJOY Music. Instagram, on Twitter, mostly Instagram actually these days. And and like all the Broken Record stuff, like the entire story of the artists, like all their bios, our message, all the music is there too. It's on the, in the link below, brokenrecords.ca. And just like I'll hand you this actually. Boom.
Oh,
There
getting
you
free,
go.
getting free shit. Oh, sick.
And free shit as well.
Break the stigma.
Yeah.
It's okay. You can just give it to me on camera. I'll give it back to you after we turn the cameras off.
Oh, true. Yeah.
I'm just kidding. We are collecting musical movement and spiritual health.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
interesting. Stay
It's just
connected.
stickers,
The official album
stickers for
release.
you as well. Put these on your
June
laptop.
June
put these on your-
28th. Oh, this is so cool. 333 Spadina.
333.
No. Oh no. I'm thinking of 333 Blur. Never mind. Yeah.
But
Okay.
those are stickers for you to put on your laptop or whatever you want. Put.
Dope. Thank you so
decorate.
much, man. I appreciate
I
it.
got lots of these. Just
I'm
giving
always
those
looking
out.
I'm always looking to put stickers on stuff.
Yeah, man.
I could probably put one on my Zoom recorder after this.
Yeah.
Okay, dope.
Yeah, man.
So the last question.
Mhm.
Okay. Now for this question, I need you to pretend that I'm a child, like I'm a kid. Okay.
All right.
Now, my question is, how or what is infinity to you, and how do you experience it?
Young one, child. Listen very closely. Infinity is something so big, so huge, like that it covers anything that you can imagine. Like it's so huge that you can't even see the end of it. And if you think you know the end of it, keep going. And it could also mean like there are so many there are like a countless number of ways things could happen, which means that because there are countless ways things could happen and countless things that could exist, and because the number of ideas that exist are infinite, that technically anything exists because it's like you can think of anything. So infinity is like it's everything, it's anything, and that also includes nothing. And it's like, if you really expand it out, infinity is the entire universe, not just what we're seeing now, but all the things that could have happened, all the parallel timelines. Like just take your mind and just think of like Rick and Morty kind of parallel universes. Just like infinity is everything, anything, anytime, that timeline, everything, just branching out over and over again. And it's all one. So it's kind of like it's everything and nothing, and it's also like it's like the way I experience infinity is that anything is possible, so therefore I can change my timeline to get there. And I experience infinity as also infinite connectedness. So I am everything and you are everything. I am you, you are me. I am that tree over there, because we're all made of the same thing. We're all made of energy, and we interact. Gravity, electricity, spiritual energy. So like I am everything. So therefore, I experience infinity also as not only just anything's possible, but also I am the whole universe, and I am immortal because I am everything, and you are everything, and I am you, and you are me, and we are all one giant neurodiverse, biologically diverse organism, society, not made of just meditating people, not made of just fish flopping on the ground, eating each other, but just one giant working machine that thinks it's separate, but really it's all like one thing, you know, like. And then infinity is also, if you zoom in even smaller and smaller, then you see more of the same. It's kind of like, you know, you zoom in from the universe and you see lots of planets, and you zoom into planets, you see lots of rocks and human beings, and you zoom into human beings, you see lots of cells, and you zoom into a cell, you see lots of molecules, and it's just no scale is too big or no scale is too small, which goes into like the thinking, like just expanding your mind as far as you can in every direction possible, like in all dimensions possible, just whatever. Infinity is so big and so widespread that even the human mind can't even, like, right now what I'm describing is probably not infinity because I'm a human being, so I can't actually comprehend that, but this is my experience of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I felt like you were taking us on like a journey there.
Yeah. Like I can't explain it, so I have to show you what infinity is.
Yeah, that was an interesting experience.
Yeah.
Okay. Well.
Yeah, man.
David. I'll call you by your government name.
my government name, my spiritual name.
Thank you so much for blessing us
much.
with your presence. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
And I wish you all the success. Like I'm
too,
loving everything that you're up to. So
you do too, man.
Keep it going. Keep going, brother.
Yeah.
And keep wearing these dashikis.
Yeah, man. Keep going.
Black power.
Yeah.
I'm keeping that in the podcast.
Thank you, Ask Infinity.
Yes.
And once again, you know, I go by Boyo Joy, bringer of joy.
Boyo Joy.
Boyo
Would
Joy.
you ever change that to your government name?
I mean, I have Boyo on there, so it's kind of already on there.
It's already pretty much the same.
Yeah.
But so then is David on your birth certificate as well?
Yep.
Oh, okay. I thought that, you know how like Chinese people or Asian people come and then they just completely change their name.
Yeah.
It's like, my name's Ben. It's like, oh, but what's your real name?
Yeah.
I don't want to get racist, so I'm just gonna leave it there. Okay, man.
Okay.
Peace. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Thank you very much.
Do them social media thing. Share, like, subscribe. Peace.
Boom.